Hello there, YouTubers. This is Mr. Lamb of God here, and not exactly my usual thing, but today I'm going to, excuse me, show you guys how to make terrariums. Now, what these are basically what I have right here are 3 examples that I've made recently. I pretty much have just started doing this in past weeks, but my results that I've been getting so far are pretty awesome, so I'm gonna make one today for you guys. Got all my stuff in here, and I'll show you guys how these basically work. Now this is just a kind of where the top isn't sealed. On like this one, it's a completely closed jar. On this one, it's a jar like flipped upside down in this little just Tupperware dish of soil, so it's all contained still. This one, however, it is not contained. It's just the plant put through the mouth of the water bottle. The plant was a little smaller when I made this one. It actually has grown quite a bit inside the bottle in like a few months. Probably not even. Probably like a month if that. And yeah, so I just fed the plant through the top of the water bottle and then put a little cut in the side of the top part of the water bottle, and so it could fit inside of this one. And I mean, it's relatively spill proof, but it's not like 100%. I designed it to go on my dashboard of my car, but it didn't really end up sticking very well, and it just kept falling off and hurting the plant, so I just brought it back inside. The other cool thing that I like about this one, though, is that you can actually take it and pull it up as the plant gets a little bit bigger, so the roots have more room to explore, and this could actually be a pretty good-sized plant at that point. But yeah, anyways, then these two are essentially just the same thing. This one is actually, this over here is a baseball covered in moss I found in the woods at my school, or my old school, I guess. It's pretty cool. I kind of started like picking it apart a little bit on the underside, and you could like see the threads of the baseball. So that's really the only way I know that. Let's see if I can try to focus on that. That's just a piece of moss I got. The other cool thing about terrariums, I don't think I mentioned, these like contained ones, you don't water at all. They the water cycle essentially just happens within these little jars. Like you can see there's some moisture up on the top. Yeah, this one is only from April 15th. That's like when I made this one, so relatively new. But this plant that I put in here that's now like up on the top of this was tiny. So I started getting these bigger ones for this. So I guess I'll get to it then. Let's see, I'm gonna try to set this up. Well, I'll show you guys all of what we have first for preparing this. I have these smaller rocks. I just got these from out in my garden. I just went and collected them. And you're going to start with these. And your vessel. This is just a vase. This is a fish bowl. This is a vase. I just got them from Walmart. This was actually like $3. And everything inside this was free. So, I mean, these are free to make if you want to make one of your own. Alright, I'll set the camera down for this so it's not so shaky. Right there. Okay, so you're just going to start by putting down a layer in the bottom of your vase or vessel or whatever you're using of these rocks. And try to get like all the little sticks and leaves and all that kind of stuff out, but it doesn't really have to be super specific, because after the terrarium sits for a little bit, the dirt will work its way down into the rocks and the plant roots and stuff, so you can't really see them after a while anyways. Oh, the other thing about the one in the jar that I'm trying, I saw somebody online do it. Most people hadn't really talked about doing it that much, and I was curious about it, so I searched it specifically, and I did see somebody put worms, like earthworms, inside of theirs. And essentially how it works is the worms and bugs and all that make most of the carbon dioxide, and then the plants would make the oxygen, so it would be like a little ecosystem in there. And that's kind of what I was going for, but I don't know if... Well, I know the worms are still alive because I see them moving around in there all the time, but I don't really know how practical it is for them to be, like, you know, living in there, because I don't really know how long that can last. Alright, that's a pretty good amount of rocks. In a smaller container, you don't really... And also, if it's just moss, I don't think it's really as crucial to have the rocks. That's mostly for the bigger plants. But from this point, you can begin to put in your soil. I have just some in that same bucket. Actually, some of my plants in here also, so I'm going to just take those out and set them over there for now. Ooh. I found some with some pretty complex root systems, and I'm not sure if the whole root system belongs to the little plants that I got, or if it is from some of the bigger plants in there, because it does not really make sense to me that such small plants would have such big root systems. Okay, so then the next step is putting in your dirt. You just put it in there, obviously. I went through already. This is a compost from my compost pile. And I went through it already and got out a lot of the sticks and leaves and all that kind of crap, because there was a ton of it in there. Like half of the container that the bucket I filled up was just sticks and crap after I emptied it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick those out of there. Kind of trying to get a landscape kind of shape going in this one, because I haven't really done much of that at all. So that's pretty much putting the dirt and the rocks in. That's really not that difficult of a process. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you're putting some dirt in a jar. Next step would be putting the plants in. So what I have here, I actually think I'm going to put some other stuff in here too, like a little rock or something. Like this, you can see the core plant is right here. Yeah, there. And all the little roots are running off, but like I said, I don't know if this huge of a root system would be for this tiny little plant. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to try to break this up. Pop that off of there. Ooh, that may or may not have just been the, like, taproot of that plant. Wow. Might have just killed that one, folks. Oh, no, actually. On the contrary, I think I just got rid of the pest and found my actual plant. Aha. Okay, I can't do this whole holding onto the camera thing. Put it down for your guys' sake. Looks like a frickin' Cloverfield. Trying to pull this apart a little bit, but not destroy this. Okay, this pretty much looks like the root of this, so I'm just gonna go with it. Go ahead, put it in there. This one I wanted right up against the side. So really all I'm gonna do is go in and bury the roots. They don't have to be under too terribly much, because they're just going to have the moss on top of them. And they'll kind of just grow in the direction that they want to grow on their own. Based on my experiences so far. Like I said, I don't want to try to sound like too much of a professional at this, because I've only made a few of these, but they seem to be flourishing, so. Alright, and then this is another one of the plants that I got that I want to put in here. This comes with a little moss and some other plants. Let's see. I'm actually gonna take some of this dirt out and put it over there. Get that pumpkin seed out of there. Made the mistake of putting all my pumpkin guts in my compost pile a few years ago. Ugh, now it's just 24/7 friggin' pumpkin roots and vines and crap in there all the time. Okay. Now I'm going to take this last chunk that I have here. I'm going to have to break it up a little bit. That's the like glorious part of moss. You can literally just split this, and it's not gonna like kill the moss or anything. Plants are annoying because they have long, complicated root systems, and you have to like kind of try to get most of it. Not really all of it necessarily, but you want most of it. So, put that little chunk of moss over there. Dig out a little dirt so it sits level with all these other plants. Okay. Now, what I think I'm going to finish this off with is some just little rocks of some kind. I'm trying to look around my apartment and find something real quick, like on the spot, that'll be cool that I can put in here. Maybe I'll just leave it at the plants. Okay, I'll give you guys a better perspective of what I have now. You can see right over here is the first plant that I put in, or this one actually I think is. And then there is the second. There's a little layer of rocks down at the bottom there. This is just my little tuff of moss and such. I don't really know what this thing is, but it looks like I don't want it. So I'm just going to pop that off of there. Alright. So now the next step is sealing it. And all the other ones have had some sort of top. This did not come with a top. So my conflict to that is plastic wrap. I'm just gonna do one of these. I'll show you guys. Just take myself a nice piece of saran wrap. And this rubber band. It's actually kind of funny. I was like going to make this video and I was like, crap, I have to find a rubber band. Like, where am I going to find one? Because I just know that I've like looked for them in the past around my apartment and haven't been able to find any. And I'm like walking out the door and I just look on my like entrance table and there's just one sitting there. I was like, wow, perfect. So yeah, you essentially just want to get this nice and tight around the top. Actually, kind of forgot one portion of this. BRB. Okay, you want to start out the water cycle for this by misting a lot of this down, getting some water going inside of here, because it's obviously going to need to have water inside of it to flourish, and since you never put more water in, you have to make sure that you have a reasonable amount of water to be sustaining plants inside of there. Ooh. Okay, that's probably fine. So then, as you were, put the saran wrap stretched all nicely. There's one little spot that has a ripple in it that I want to get rid of. There. I'm too finicky and specific. Okay. So now that that's all nice, you can... It's actually sticking relatively well, but still, I'm going to put the rubber band on it. Right around the top there. Oof, not there. Right around the top. And then just trim away all the excess, which I'm going to do with these scissors that I left over here. And then your terrarium is done. You can now enjoy nature in its raw form in a jar inside your house. And then the nicest thing about this for me personally is that I'm not good at remembering to like water plants, and it's just like such a hands-off kind of system since you just like pretty much just look at it. It's a good desktop kind of thing, something like I said you don't have to worry about watering all the time. It's cool. So let's see here. Finished product. Terrarium. And the inside of it will get like foggy like this and whatnot. Maybe a little hard to see through, but fret not. That is normal because, like I said, the water cycle does have to happen inside of this. So, this was Mr. Lamb of God, and as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.